Welcome back, student. Today we read the 11th chapter of Environmental Studies Part 2. The name of chapter is a Discomfiture of the Shaistakhan. Shaistakhan's campaign. In spite of repeated efforts in which he left no stone unturned, Adil Shah of Bijapur could not force Shivaji to surrender. Every Sardar of Bijapur who was sent against Shivaji was defeated. Adil Shah at last gave up the fight, made peace with Shivaji, and gave recognition to his independent kingdom. Shivaji thus had peace for some time on his southern border. In the meanwhile, constant Mughal attack from the north had practically ruined Maharashtra. Shivaji therefore turned his attention northwards and carried out raids in the territory of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. These enraged Aurangzeb and he sent Shaistakhan, his uncle, to deal with Shivaji and teach him a lesson. Shaistakhan, with a huge army of 75,000 men and hundreds of elephants, camels, and pieces of cannon, marched on Pune. On the way, he captured the towns of Shirwar, Shivapur, Saswad, and finally laid siege to the fort of Purandar. Nothing could stop his advance. But once the Maratha army surrounded him in a mountain pass, the Maratha troops moved very fast on their swift Bhimthadi ponies. They also travelled very light. They could traverse the hills and valleys in the shortest possible time on army rations consisting of onions and bajra bread. This type of warfare, perfected by Marathas, was unknown to Shaistakhan. Tired of the continuous harassment by Maratha troops, he at last raised the siege of Purandar. Firangoji Narsala. Shaistakhan then continued his march on Pune. First, he captured the fort of Chakan. Firangoji Narsala fought to defend the fort with great bravery and skill against the army of Shaistakhan. For 2 months, he kept the Shaistakhan at bay, but he was helpless against the guns of Shaistakhan. Shaistakhan was much impressed with the way of Firangoji, defended the fort, and offered him service with the Mughal emperor. Firangoji, however, refused his tempting offer. Shaistakhan in Lal Mahal. Shaistakhan came to Pune and made Lal Mahal, Shivaji's residence, his headquarters. 1 year passed, then another year. Shaistakhan would not leave Pune. On the contrary, his troops would raid Shivaji's territory, destroy crops, and take away the cattle. In this way, he started devastating the surrounding countryside. A bold plan. At last, Shivaji decided to teach Shaistakhan a lesson. In a way, it was a good that Shaistakhan was staying in a Lal Mahal. Shivaji knew the place inside out with all its entrances and exits, its secret passages, doors, and windows. Besides, Shivaji's spies were keeping him well informed about the disposition of Khan's troops. Shivaji therefore decided to enter Lal Mahal one night and kill Shaistakhan. This was indeed a very bold plan. Lal Mahal was so well guarded that even an ant would find it difficult to get through. 75,000 troops were camping outside the palace. No armed Maratha was allowed to enter the town. But Shivaji had made up his mind, and there was none who could turn him away from his resolve. Shivaji fixed the date to carry out the plan. On the night of 5th April 1663, a marriage procession was passing along the streets of Pune. There was a music and firework accompanied the procession. Hundreds of people dressed in a fine cloths were in a procession. Some were in a palanquins, others in a menas, while many more were on a foot. Shivaji, with his band of trusted followers, joined the procession to give the impression that they were a part of it. After some time, the procession proceeds on its way, but Shivaji and his men move away quietly in the direction of Lal Mahal. Shaistakhan was fast asleep at this hour. Shaistakhan learns a lesson. Shivaji made a hole in the wall and entered Lal Mahal. He had no trouble in finding his way about because it was, after all, his own house. The Khan's bodyguards were half asleep. Shivaji's followers tied them up. Shivaji went deeper inside. Suddenly, someone rushed at him with a sword. Shivaji killed him. He thought it was a Shaistakhan, Khan, but it was his son. There was a commotion. People woke up. Shivaji went straight to Khan's chamber and took out his sword. Terrified, the Khan started shouting, the devil, and tried to escape through the window. Shivaji struck him with his sword, which cut off three fingers of the Khan. The Khan could have lost his life, but he escaped with the loss of her three fingers only. The Khan jumped out of the window and made for a safety. To deceive the Khan's troops, Shivaji and his men raised the cry. Shivaji has attacked, run, catch him, and started to run themselves. The Khan's troops also started running in all directions. In the confusion that followed, Shivaji and his men made their escape and reached Sinhagad. The Khan's troops spent the whole night looking in vain of Shivaji and his troop. This incident took the fight out of Shaistakhan. He was afraid that if he lost only his fingers in the first attack, Shivaji might cut his head off in the second. Aurangzeb was furious when he heard of this episode. Shaistakhan lost the emperor's favor and was transferred to Bengal. This was the first serious blow to the Mughal emperor. Shivaji had successfully bearded the lion in his own den. Gunfire announced the victory, and a wave of joy went all over the Maharashtra. Thank you.